So I played Silent Hill: A Short Message. It's all right. It's so they really it's free. I played it on PS5. I'm not sure if it's available on anything else. It might be. I'm not quite sure. Um, it's about an hour, maybe 2 hours long. When it says a short message, it really is like a short message, but it's pretty good. It looks nice. The the story is it's 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 good. It has a decent short story. Um, my only thing is that I don't understand why it's named Silent Hill. Um, because it has nothing to do with Silent Hill. It doesn't even take place in Silent Hill. It takes place in Germany. I forgot the exact city that it takes place in, but it doesn't take place in Silent Hill. It has a lot of inspiration. It reminded me a lot of PT. It reminded me a lot of Devotion, if you ever played that, which is also um, a short little horror romp. Devotion is a little bit longer. I'd say it's about 5 hours maybe. But that's a pretty good horror game. Um, but yeah, there's not really much to say about it. It's not a Silent Hill game though. It's a fun little horror romp. It's a little spooky. Um, it's got some good moments. It got some decent story. It does have some spooky moments in the form of like chase segments with uh, flower monsters. Um, yeah, it's all right. There's really not much to say. Um, I they released it because also released Silent Hill 2 gameplay, and then they released Silent Hill Short Message, which I'm pretty sure it's to like kind of fill the void of like Silent Hill 2 a little bit, but yeah, it doesn't. The only reference to Silent Hill, like either the past games or even the town, is in an article where it talks about something called the Silent Hill effect or the Silent Hill. I'm pretty sure it's like the Silent Hill effect or something like that, where it references a town in the States. Because remember, this takes place in Germany, it doesn't take place in the States. It talks about how there is a town surrounded by fog, and then it's like, oh, fog like clouds judgment and represents uncertainty, running blindly into danger, that kind of thing. And it also discusses how people will sometimes like black out for a little bit, um, and then it like helps them like go into their personal traumas or issues, feelings of uncertainty, danger. It That's it. And honestly, reading that, I kind of started laughing because it's such a grasp at straws to connect it to Silent Hill, and it's not even that good of a connection, honestly. And that's not to say that I don't think Silent Hill couldn't take place in other locations. I think it could, but I think it's less to do with like the fog and like the you know, the mental health issues that it brings up. It does go into mental health issues, so like bullying, trauma, um, suicide, self harm. It does have those things. So if you're triggered by that stuff or you get uncomfortable by that stuff, keep an eye out for that. There is a warning at the beginning of the game too that tells you like, hey, if you have these issues or you're not in the best state of mind, it's best to skip out on this one. And it does actually show some really uncomfortable segments of that stuff. So trigger warning. But I wasn't blindsided by this. I read the trigger warning and it does get intense. But yeah, with there's not much of a connection to Silent Hill, like either the town or the cult of Silent Hill. The Order. It doesn't reference that. It doesn't reference anything about any past characters in the Silent Hill games. It doesn't really discuss anything with that. And that is my main critique of it, and pretty much my only critique of it. The rest of the game is still pretty good. Like, as its own thing, it's pretty good. Like I said, it reminded me a lot of Devotion, where it's more about traveling through your memories and realizing your mistakes. And the ending was actually really sweet. I really liked the ending. It was really nice, and it's a good little spooky romp. You know, it's not anything super special. It's not anything bad. It's just not a Silent Hill game. And if Konami just wanted to make a short little spooky romp, and you know, make a game talking about, you know, past trauma, suicide, self-harm, bullying, there's bullying that is present in the game, art, that kind of thing, then they could have just made that. But I don't see the connection to any of the Silent Hill canon, really. Like, either the actual town of Silent Hill or the cult. Now, there was some background, like, there are a lot of documents and news articles and journals that you can read throughout the game to give context to this world and the characters in it. And there was reference to how in, like, 1930-ish time era, the town was helped, the community was helped built up by a witch from Japan or something like that, or like a clairvoyant from Japan. And she was killed, and it was said to be suicide, but it was also in the same article where it discusses that there was also some evidence of foul play involved, so that could be connected to the Silent Hill stuff. It was, that's just me speculating though. There wasn't anything that was connecting her to Silent Hill, like the Order or the town. Maybe it is, I'm not saying it isn't, but I think that was more used to kind of point fingers or being shown to represent a bullying issue that happens in the game. Yeah. Like I said, there's not much to say. I just wanted to talk about it just because I was more frustrated with the fact that it was named a Silent Hill game. If anyone remembers this, there was a rumor and drama surrounding Silent Hill 4: The Room, where it was said to not be, it was not meant to be a Silent Hill game. That's been disproven. Even I thought that was a little weird because it was very clearly, it was developed alongside Silent Hill 3, which is one of the best games in the series. And also, the main antagonist was referenced in a newspaper in Silent Hill 2. So, it was always, it was meant to be a Silent Hill game. But I kind of see this game as a more true version of that statement. It's not meant to be a Silent Hill game. And that's not a bad thing. Some games are not meant to be a Silent Hill game. For Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that's not an Assassin's Creed game to me. It's just a fun romp through Greece. And that's fine. It's fine if that's the kind of game you want. Why connect it to Assassin's Creed? There's no reason. It's the same thing here. It's a nice little game. It talks about some heavy stuff. It handles it fairly well for the most part. It's just, there's no connection to Silent Hill other than the newspaper calling out the Silent Hill effect, where it talks about fog and people passing out and them like dissecting their trauma or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the article says, but it was along those lines. But that was it. And even then, there was not that much fog in the game. Now, granted, you are indoors for the most part, so that's understandable. But in the small time that you were outside and kind of looking around, there wasn't that much fog. Yeah, there wasn't that much fog. Not that I can remember anyway. And none that actually go into the story. Maybe as like a world detail thing, like, oh, you're looking at the top of the building and then there's some fog around. But it doesn't really connect to the whole Silent Hill effect. But yeah, I'm nervous for Silent Hill 2. I watched the gameplay footage and to me it looks a little rough. It looks good, like visually and graphically the game looks good. The gameplay looks a little rough, but keeping an open mind, it's probably early footage. They probably just got done, designing the map layout and the graphics, and now they just need to fine-tune the gameplay, which is understandable. I will still play it. I will probably pre-order it. I have, actually, my prized possession. I finally got an original copy of Silent Hill 2. I got the Xbox version, which included Maria's story. Still need to play through this one, but I more just wanted to show that off because I'm really happy I have it. I will play through that. I will finish it. Then I will play, the remake. And I'm just kind of nervous because it's Konami and they have been proven to mishandle their IPs, not just Silent Hill, but also Metal Gear Solid. They haven't done well with that one. Interested to see how they do with Metal Gear Zero, I believe it's called, or Metal Gear Alpha, or something like that. It's basically just a remake of Metal Gear 3. I think it's 3. Interested to see how they do with that. I'm nervous for the future of Silent Hill. With the stuff they announced, the Until Dawn special thing, I heard it was pretty bad. I think the short message was supposed to be Silent Hill F, because of the flower monsters and the post-it notes, which I wanted something a little bit more. Or maybe this is supposed to connect to that game, and that game hasn't actually come out yet. I don't know yet. I have to do more research into that. But I am somewhat excited for Silent Hill 2 Remake. It'll be nice to finally see something from this franchise after so much silence. Especially after the cancellation of Silent Hills and the deletion of PT from the PlayStation Store. That sucked, and I really wish there was still a way for me to play the authentic version of PT other than just playing the Unreal version on PC. But yeah, that was Silent Hill's short message. Give it a go. It's not a bad game. Again, trigger warning if you're triggered by suicide, self-harm, abuse, like childhood abuse, bullying, that kind of thing. It does get pretty heavy. Um, but it is a short, it's a short, spooky romp. Um, yeah, give it a go, give it a shot. That's just my thoughts on it, and my thought is, it's not a Silent Hill game, but it's still pretty decent.